Welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, it's cold outside, as you can see, but I'm so glad it's nice and warm in the kitchen today, and I'm going to get started on some things that are going to make Christmas a lot easier for me this year. I'm glad you're joining me. I'm going to put together 3 recipes for cookies that are going to be great to take if you're going to a cookie swap, or to give as a gift, or better yet, to serve in your own home this year. So join me as we make a peppermint meringue that just melts in your mouth. The children will love to make this with you. I'm going to do a candy cane cookie that is beautiful as a garnish, makes a perfect gift, but is so tasty. And then finally, a lemon cheese log that's dipped in chocolate, and this really takes me back to my childhood because I used to do it with my grandmother. So join me, 3 great cookies, 3 great recipes. We're going to have a lot of fun. That time of year where we all love to be in the kitchen and do things that are really pretty and delicious for Christmas. So one of the first cookies that we're going to do today is a peppermint meringue. So what I've done, I've gone ahead and separated the yolk from the white. I've got 3 egg whites in the bowl. I've incorporated regular granulated sugar into this mixture for about 6 minutes. So now I've got a really hard, firm meringue. So I'm going to turn this back on, and now I'm going to incorporate a ½ cup of powdered sugar to this. And then one of the things that I love to remember when I'm doing holiday baking is that look at some of the recipes that you're going to be doing ahead of time, because I actually am using egg yolks for the other 2 recipes I'm doing today, and I already had the egg whites, so I didn't have to waste an egg to have that today. All right, so I'm going to incorporate the powdered sugar into there, and then I'm going to add to that 1/8 teaspoon of peppermint extract. And don't confuse mint extract for peppermint. So you want to be sure you get the peppermint. And just the smell of that just reminds me of the holidays. All right, so we're going to whip that up just a little bit more. Get a nice stiff heat. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to dot some red food coloring to this so that it actually looks like peppermint candy. All right, so let me turn that down. Okay. All right, now I'm ready to do the adding of the color. And I'm going to do 12 drops of red food coloring. And what you want to do is just kind of lightly go all the way around. And you're not going to stir this because the swirl will happen when you pipe it out of the piping bag. So 12 drops. Okay. And now, if you don't happen to have a piping bag, a freezer Ziploc bag will really do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to use my spatula and do spoonfuls at a time into the bag. And as you can see, it's starting to take on that peppermint look. And just spoon that in a little bit at a time. And I preheated my oven to 200 degrees, and these are going to sit in that oven for about 2.5 hours. The other thing that you could do would be to make this the night before, put it into a 400-degree oven, and when you do, turn the oven off and let them sit there all night. So that makes really a quick way to do it. So now I've got my mix in the bag. I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch off the bottom, and now I'm going to start the piping process. So one by one, just a quick little swirl, and then dollop it up. And I'm going to continue piping these, and we'll be getting these into the oven. So come back we're gonna make a delicious, one of my family recipes when we return from the break. One of my favorite cookies is a lemon cream cheese log that I dip in chocolate, and it's kind of a semi-sweet dark, so I just love it. How many of you remember those lemon cheesecakes that you had growing up? I know those were my favorite, and that's what this cookie kind of reminds me of. So I've got 2 sticks of butter and 3 ounces of cream cheese that I've creamed in my mixer. And now I'm gonna add to that a cup of granulated sugar and just get this mixed well until it's really light and fluffy. And you know, I used to always know when my grandmother was gonna be cooking the next day, because she would set the butter and eggs out the night before so they would come to room temperature. That's a fond memory of mine. Okay, now to that, I'm gonna add just a pinch of kosher salt, an egg yolk, and remember my little tip earlier about saving those egg whites for when you're ready to make the meringues. Okay, and then the other really nice treat to this is the lemon, zest of a lemon. So I got that done a little bit earlier. Now you're really getting that wonderful cream cheese lemon aroma. All right, now I've got my 2½ cups of flour that I'm gonna start incorporating. I'm gonna turn my mixer down just a little bit so the flour doesn't go everywhere while I'm mixing. And you know, these are the sorts of things at Christmas time, these cookies freeze so well. So I know we've still got several weeks left until the holidays, but this would be something, if it was cold like it is today, that you could get done ahead and get them bagged up and in the freezer ready to go when you have a party or you want to take a special thank you, maybe when you're invited to someone's home for dinner. Okay, this also is just regular flour. All right, so I'm gonna get that, turn the mixer on just a little bit more now. And again, you're just really getting that cream cheese flavor. And now I've got a cup of chopped pecans I'm gonna add to that as well. And just remember, I haven't added any other kind of flavoring. So this cookie really incorporates that cream cheese and the pecans. You can just really get that smell as far as, and also the aroma. All right, so now at this point, you should refrigerate that until it's good and cold. But I made some yesterday and had it ready so that I could show you the next step, which is to take about a walnut size amount and make a little ball with your hands. And then you're going to roll it out a little bit more until you've got more or less of a log looking amount. So again, just pinch about a walnut size and then roll it right in the palm of your hand and just get those started in a row. And if the dough gets too, you know, your hands will start getting warm, it may start sticking to it. So if it does, you can stop and put it back in the refrigerator. All right, at this point, after I've gotten the whole sheet done, I'm gonna take a salad fork and just some water. And this is where I press down and just make an indentation in the cookie. Now the next step would be that these I made earlier and I've got them, they are nice and cool. And I've zapped my semi-sweet chocolate in the microwave, and now I'm going to just dip the side of it into the cookie and let it sit on the rack, or you can refrigerate it to get that good and cold. So come back, we're gonna be making a candy cane cookie, and I'm gonna finish dipping these in chocolate. Thanks so much for joining me on this cold winter day, and you know, we're just a few weeks out from Christmas. And I'm on the third cookie now. We've done a meringue, we've done a lemon cream cheese log dipped in chocolate. This is a peppermint stick. Doesn't taste like peppermint. It's a wonderful, delicious butter cookie, but it's such a fun process. So what I've done here, I've creamed 2 sticks of butter with a little bit of confectioner's sugar. So I've got that nice and creamy. Now I'm gonna add to that vanilla and almond, and actually that's really my favorite. If you don't like the flavor of almond, you can leave that out and just add a little bit more vanilla. And then I've got 2 egg yolks. And again, all of the recipes for the cookies today are on NBC26.tv. Just go to VeryVera and the recipes will be right there. All right, now I'm going to add to this 2½ cups of flour. And you want to turn the mixer down just a little bit so the flour doesn't go everywhere while you're adding it in. And you know, these are the sorts of things that I really love to get my grandchildren involved. We do a lot of this at camp with the children. So these are just recipes that are not that difficult to do. But this candy cane cookie can be a beautiful garnish for any of the cookie trays that you're doing over the holidays. You can also wrap up a couple of them in a cellophane bag, and it just really makes a nice present when you get invited to dinner or to someone's house for a party. All right, this is going in really well. And this is just plain all-purpose flour. Woo! Flour's going everywhere. Okay, so it's wonderful smell of that butter. I'm going to get this, turn it up just a little bit just to get it mixed in. And now what I'm going to do is I need to separate the dough because we're going to dye half of it red. So what I've done is I've gone to any store that sells cake decorating supplies, and instead of using the red food coloring like we used for the meringues, I'm using a gel, a paste this time to do this. So if you've got a scale at home, you can weigh the dough, but you can also just eyeball this, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to take it, and you want to eyeball it, and what we're going to do is add the red food coloring to half the dough. So I'm just going to pull half of this out of the bowl into another bowl and leave the other in there that I'm going to add the red food coloring to. All right, okay, and I actually made some of this ahead because I wanted to be able to show you the entire process. So, as you can see, I've got 2 different colors of dough, the white and the red, and you want to start with the white, and you're going to do about a walnut size ball of the dough, and you're going to put it in, make it into a nice circle. So let's get 2 of those going. We'll make 2 candy canes today. So I've got 2 of these. I'm going to do the same thing with red. And look how nice and bright red that is. All right, so you've got your balls made. And you've got to separate where you're working on the counter, and these wonderful granite countertops just are the perfect space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this with my fingers and make a long rope out of it. Same thing again with this one. Just roll it until you've got a nice long rope. All right, do the same thing with the red. And what you want to do is you want to end up with the 2 pieces the same length. You're going to push them together, and then you're just going to twist it. You go over to your cookie sheet and make it into the shape of a cane, and just repeat that process. Again, these freeze really well, make perfect garnish. So come back, we're going to display all this. I'm going to show you how to wrap it up for a present, and we're going to snack. Have you seen something on the VeryVera show lately that you want to do for a dinner party, or maybe read something in a food magazine? You know, the food is easy for me. Sometimes the guest list is the hardest part. I try to get a little bit more diversified right now in my guest list, maybe combining young people with older people, trying to invite maybe someone that's new in the community so they can start to meet some people. You should try that too. It's a great way to polish some of your own entertaining skills, is to not invite the same people over and over. Another thing that's very important, when you get an invitation that has a series of names of people that have hosted the party, be sure that you refer back to that invitation before you go, so that when it's time to leave, instead of just thanking the person whose home you're in, that you go back through the list and you thank each and every person that had the party that night. So remember, try to do a great guest list and thank all the hosts and hostesses. About you, but I'm kind of liking this cold weather right about now. It's been so wonderful in the kitchen today. The aromas are fantastic, and I'm getting excited about Christmas. I can't wait. So I hope that you will enjoy these recipes. I hope that you'll take advantage of some of the tips that I gave you today. But you know, there's so many things that you can do with goodies, and what an economical gift. A gift of love, something that the ingredients really don't cost very much. Today we used butter, flour, sugar, a little bit of flavoring, some lemon rind, some peppermint extract. So we had a lot of things. So I've got some ideas for you if you're looking for a teacher gift, or a gift when you're invited to a party, or if you just want to do something really nice for your neighbors this year. Remember the meringues that we did earlier? There's a couple of different things that you can do with those. Here I've just bagged them up in a cellophane bag, tied the top with a pipe cleaner. I've done a bow with a kind of a wired ribbon, and you can pick this up on sale all over the place this time of the year. And to that, I've gone to the dollar store and gotten just some beautiful Christmas mugs, and this would be perfect just as a teacher gift or a friend gift. If you wanted to do something a little extra with that, you could pick up one of the little totes that carries 2 cups and fill this one with some hot chocolate mix. The meringues are fantastic in hot chocolate. So keep that in mind when you make that recipe, that it might be fun to either give the mix that you make yourself or buy some of the pre-made packets and have a second mug with that. Another thing I thought about with the meringues, because you know, you think about peppermint right before you go to bed, how about a pair of really cute holiday slippers? And these were just really darling, kind of look like Mary Jane shoes. So what I've done, again, I used the cellophane bag. I filled up one pair with the meringues, and then the second pair I've just taken and I've woven the string through the top. So when you go, you could, you know, if you went to someone's house for dinner, maybe you could just sneak and put this on the end of their bed as your way of saying thank you and happy holidays. And then finally, another thing that I think is great is to do the meringues in the little Chinese box, and that's another thing that you could maybe slip on the pillow wherever you've gone to have dinner. Would make a nice touch. All of these dishes have turned out so great. If you're going to a cookie swap, I really love to see you use things that you have at home, maybe that you don't use all the time. I've used a lot of crystal today. This was something that my grandmother really loved. The sandwich tray, the relish dish, and this is an old-fashioned ice container. The candy cane cookies just look so pretty in here. And this is another thing that you can do with, you know, the ideas that this could be tied on the top of a gift when you get ready to wrap it up, that you've got a little favor on the top of the gift. The meringue cookies look really great, and you see how I've used the candy cane as kind of a garnish. So I'm ended up using that all over the place. I could even put it in the center of the tray with the lemon cream cheese bars that I made. The look of the birch and the bark really is great with this cookie because it kind of resembles that. It's got that fleck of the pecan in there, the dipping it in the chocolate. And so I've kind of used the cypress tree as a decoration there and made that look kind of like a tree, kind of a pine cone effect with that. So as you go through and you're making your plans for the holidays, remember that both of these cookies freeze really well. You can make the dough in advance, keep it in the refrigerator for several days. Have a child over, your grandchild or something, when you get ready to make these. That would be great. The meringue cookies really have to be made at the last minute, and they don't hold up you know, in the freezer, but they hold up in an airtight container for weeks. So again, this is something that you can get made in advance and be ready. So as we get ready for the holidays, I hope that you'll enjoy these recipes. I know I'm looking forward to having a party, and what more fun for me today than to invite all of my friends from the studio that help put this together every week. Scott, John, Frenchie, and Perrin. And of course, I've got Evan in the back. He couldn't join us because somebody's got to man the camera. So I want y'all to celebrate. Come have some. We've got a candy cane cookie, a peppermint, and a lemon bar. And you know, I hope as you go through that you'll enjoy these recipes. But like we always say, help yourself. This holiday season and any time of year, no matter what you do it in good taste.